Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and I wanted to make a video going over my streaming and I guess local recording setup as well. I get a lot of questions almost every stream. How do you have your chat set up like that? What programs do you use for everything, for whether it be the actual streaming or how do I get notifications popping up on my screen? Do I use any sort of add-ons or anything like that? It's just I get a lot of questions and figured it would be easy to just make a video like this, wing it, talk about whatever it is I feel is important to go over, and hopefully it gives you a better idea if you're looking to get into streaming, things you can do to help improve the experience for those watching or for yourself, as a matter of fact. So before we actually go into any of the fancy stuff you see on screen right here, I'm going to go into my OBS settings. Now, OBS, or Open Broadcast Software, is the software that I use to live stream. There are other ones. XSplit is another really popular one. Marilla's Action is another one some people use. I like Open Broadcast Software. It's free. It's customizable. It's not too stressful on the computer, although you can definitely bump up the settings to make it more stressful if your computer can handle it. It's just worked perfectly for me all this time, so I can't imagine changing away from it. First, we're going to go into the settings that I have on the back end, the things that you don't see on the screen yourself. So this general tab, I never touch. The encoding tab, something I also don't touch all too often. I've always had X264 encoder, although I've heard if you have an NVIDIA card that this is actually a pretty good option, but I can't speak about it. I've always had CBR on, and I've always enabled CBR padding. Never have I used custom buffer size, and I pretty much just set my max bitrate to something. It depends. It actually describes to you what the maximum bitrate is right here. Note that although your average bitrate will be at this value, and then it disappears before I can actually read it to you. Regardless, so when I'm locally recording, I usually have it between 5,000 and 10,000 bitrate, depending on how high of a quality I really want for the video. That's not the only thing that goes into quality video, but it is one part of it. For live streaming on twitch.tv, I'm not sure about other platforms that you might be able to live stream on. You want a value somewhere between 1,500 and 3,500. Now, a big thing with determining what bitrate you're capable of is what kind of internet you have locally. So 1,500 is the minimum. And if you're going to use that, that's usually something you'll use if you have somewhere between 3 to 5 megabits per second for your connection. So 1.5 would be the lowest. Now, I actually have 60 down and 30 up locally. So I go as close to the maximum of 3,500 as possible. However, I'd like to just sit at a nice even 3,000, just because the extra 500 sometimes makes it harder for some people to watch. The quality would definitely go up, and that would be the maximum quality achievable in terms of bitrate. But I just like to sit at the nice even 3,000. You have to gauge it based on your internet. Go run a speed test for your local ISP. Don't just run the base speed test. Make sure you go into the options and set it to your local ISP, so that way you make sure you're pinging the nearest node. And that should help determine what kind of bitrate you should be using. You generally just want to go with something that's, I don't want to say 10% of your, like if you have 30 megabits, you would be like 3,000 bitrate is pretty safe. But you could do this with as little as like 10 megabits per second. It's something that you'll just have to feel out depending on how good your internet connection actually is. So I'm going to leave it at 3,000. I never touch any of the audio encoding, AAC, 48 kilohertz, 128 bitrate, stereo channel, whatever. Yes, I would like to apply. So this is where we do broadcast settings. Now, this is the local recording settings. It's whatever. There's nothing special about this. It's just where I save my files locally. Switching over to the live stream one. Now, there's quite a few things here that you're going to have to know going into streaming as a whole. First of all, the streaming service you can select. I'm actually not going to click that drop down. It's pretty self-explanatory. It resets my stream key if I do. Now, the big thing that you're going to want to figure out is what server that you want to stream from. This will change depending on which streaming service you're actually trying to access. But for me, I actually either go with Ashburn, Virginia, or New York, New York. The reason is on Twitch, I've actually had some pretty tough experiences with the New York, New York one. So Ashburn, Virginia is more consistent for me, surprisingly, despite the fact that I just live about 20 miles from New York City as is. So just pick one that's in a location near you. And if that one's giving you trouble, find a backup location. Like, South Korea, for example, has 2. Hong Kong has 2. You have San Francisco, and then at the top here, and then you also have Los Angeles down here. You have San Jose. You have Seattle. There's a lot of locations. Just find the one that works best for you. So Dallas, Texas for the Midwest as well. So with that out of the way, stream key, this will be given to you by whatever streaming service you have, whether it be YouTube or Twitch. You can usually find it somewhere on the Twitch. I don't want to show you mine. Just go to your dashboard on Twitch and click stream key, and that should tell you what it is. You just copy and paste that, put it in here. Auto reconnect, just if you disconnect, it automatically reconnects you, and this is how long it takes before it tries to reconnect you. So I have it set to a measly 5 seconds. I have no delay set on the stream itself. I do not even use click minimize network impact. I don't know, maybe if you have a really, really low internet connection, this would help, but I don't even need to use that. And also, this is something that's optional. I actually save all of my broadcasts locally. If you don't want to do that, turn this off. Because you don't want, this is actually really annoying. I'm going to turn this off right now for myself. Keep recording if live stream stops. That means I have to click stop streaming and stop recording every single time I'm done streaming. That's what's been causing that. So automatically save. This is just if you want to save it locally. This is completely not necessary, and most people probably won't use it. Going on to video options, so I have it set to my video adapter. This is an important thing. Make sure that if you have it, it's not using like onboard graphics or something like that. It's going to my GTX 970. So my base resolution, 1920 by 1080, aspect ratio 16 by 9. And I don't use the monitor one. I just go with that, just flat 1080p. If you don't have a 1080p monitor, if you have a different size monitor, you'll just have to change it accordingly. But 1920 by 1080p is pretty nice. Try to get a monitor that has about that. I also downscale it specifically for Twitch down to 720p. What I found that most people don't really can't even watch 1080p. So I just bring it down to 720p. Yes, it reduces the quality by a little bit, but it makes it so that the stream is watchable by a broader variety of people. Filter, I have it set to the fastest filter and set to 60 FPS. I also can't enable arrow, although I've heard with some bugs on OBS, depending on what operating system you're running or if it's the latest update or what kind of parts you have in your computer, enabling arrow is something that some people do and highly recommend. I don't use it. It works fine for me. Audio, I never touch this. The only thing I do with audio, my webcam you're seeing right now, when I first start the recording or when I first start live streaming, it actually takes 100 ms before it actually starts up. So for that sole reason, I have a mic off sync set to 100 ms. That way my lips match my face pretty much. I don't know what this push to talk delay is. I don't even use push to talk for this. And I've never touched desktop boost or mic aux boost. I don't even know what that is, so I wouldn't touch it. And right here you have desktop audio device and microphone. So I actually, right now, I am pulling audio. If something were to play from my headset, you would hear it. But you can also do things. You can completely set it to, you can set it to default. I change it very often. This would be making the sound come from my monitor. This would come from my microphone, which would be strange. And then for my actual microphone itself, I have my Blues Yeti microphone, which you're seeing in front of my face right now. I have the Logitech one, which is plugged into my headset. And then I have the microphone on my webcam, which we definitely don't want to use. Now, these settings, most of these settings, it'll tell you this at the bottom. If you go to change them, I won't actually change them. It'll tell you these settings won't be applied until the next time you begin streaming. Keep that in mind so you don't have to fix these problems while you're live. You want to make sure everything's sorted out before you actually have to go live. Hotkeys, I don't think I use any hotkeys. Yeah, I don't use any hotkeys. There's push to talk. There's broadcast, start stream, stop stream. I get nervous putting these on because I'm always afraid I'll be doing something privately and I'll have like OBS open. Like, I don't know, I'll be in the middle of raiding and I'll press a button that I don't usually press and it'll start streaming. I used to have the start stream one and stop stream as a different key, and I stopped doing that because that happened way too often. Anyway, moving on to advanced, you don't really need to, I don't mess with these all too much. I think I messed with these a long time ago. I'm just going to show you what I have. I use multi-threaded optimizations, process priority class is normal. My scene buffering time is 700 ms. Allow other modifiers on hotkeys, doesn't even matter. Yeah, I know I never touched that. Disables encoding while previewing. I guess that would actually be helpful in some cases, but I don't bother with that. I have my CPU presets at the very fast. It's setting this value higher reduces CPU usage by sacrificing aspects of quality. I actually want to turn that down then. I want to make that slower because I could use some better quality. On the other hand, setting the value lower increases quality at the cost of more CPU. So this is where we actually have the part where you can make it sort of catch up with XSplit in terms of quality. I have it set to very fast. It's actually, I think that's default. Either faster or very fast is considered default. But again, if you have a really good computer, you can set it to lower settings. I'm actually going to try that in the near future. Encoding main profile, I just have it set to main. Keyframe interval set to 2. I never touch that. Use CFR. Now, if you're going to use CFR and use custom encoder settings, this is... you can actually see this allows you to set custom 264 encoder settings in the parameter equal value. VBV minus bitrate equals 1000. This is something that's really fancy and you're going to need probably a guide on its own. I have messed with it a little bit in the past, but it hasn't made all too much difference in my stream, so I just decided to turn it off in general. I have 120 FPS turned off, encode in full range off, all the audio options off, all the network options off. But if, again, you might want to look into these network options in the future if you're someone who has sort of a unique network or ISP. I never use quick sync encoder. I've never touched this before. In fact, it's not even available apparently. Like, I need to be using something very specific for that. And also all the rest of these. Hey, my Dawnborn Ether Sand is selling. I have Final Fantasy 14 open in the back, so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Scene switcher is not a bad thing. This would probably be a good idea for me to have for things like the podcast, but I don't mess with any of the stuff here at the bottom. So with that out of the way, those are my basic settings going into my actual broadcast. But now we're going to actually go into all the stuff you see on the screen right here. So first of all, I just want to say, as you can see right here on OBS, you can see that I have a bunch of video sources. I have a bunch of different scenes. A scene is basically just, you know, what kind of sources it's pulling from. Like if I click my scene, that's just my face. This is what I'll usually record like Mondays with Mr. Happy on. It'll literally just be the video capture device right here. Intro to the stream, like this is the intro to my live stream. This is what I do. I just click this intro stream right here. It plays a video source. And I'll be talking about video sources a little bit later on because that's not something that comes with OBS by default. And then the Final Fantasy 14 source, which right now I'm using monitor capture on, so that way you can actually see what I'm doing within OBS. See, like you can even see it when I click intro stream right here, or scene right here. So sources, and then sources are just like either an image or a text file or a video or capturing your game or capturing your camera, all that stuff. So let's just go through what the different ones do. So for example, this is a video source. Now, video sources are actually something that you need to Google and download. They do not come standard with open broadcast software, and they have an installation process as well. I highly recommend, if you're going to do this, Google video source download OBS and follow the instructions to the T. This allows you to do things like play a set of videos in a playlist or enter a file path or URL that points to a specific video to play. And it has a broad variety of uses, but I mostly just use it for a social pop-up. When I press OK, in the bottom right of my stream, you'll see it pop up. It's playing a video that was recorded specifically just to show my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter all on the side. Then it disappears like a nice good video does. Now, another set of things I have are like subtrains and recent donations and other text files, which as you can see when I enable and disable them, they all do different things. So in order for this is actually something I should talk about a little bit later because I use a program called Twitch Alerts, but I might as well just pull it over right now. So this is a program I use called Twitch Alerts. And what this program allows me to do is it basically just allows me to get alerts. And you can see these alerts like I have donation alerts, subscription alerts, and follow alerts. And luckily, the Twitch Alerts website has great directions on how to set everything up. You can see that through the stream labels section right here. But for example, this lets me play things such as like, let's see, test subscription alert. You guys won't be able to hear the subscription alert because it might blow your eardrums out. But basically, as you can see, it'll pop up and say, somebody just subscribed to my channel. Or if I test the follow alert, it'll say somebody just followed. Let's do that. That one lagged a little bit. I don't think that one actually popped up on screen. There we go. Now it did. So there you have Kefka laughing for the follow, and then for the donation alert, you have the Habdallah symbol popping up. There's music popping up with it as well. And that's also set up down here with the individual follow alerts, subscription alerts, and donation alerts. There's a ton of different programs that do the same thing. I really like this one, so it's the one I've been using. But part of this program is actually something else. You can actually download a little side program, which I'm going to open here on my other monitor. I don't remember closing it, but it's not here anymore. Sorry, there was some personal information that was shown when I went to switch over to the Twitch Alerts thing, so I made a cut in the video so I could just show it. So this Twitch Alerts program allows you to set up text files that you can pull information from that are updated dynamically based on when you receive donations or you get a subscription or you get a follow. And then it has all of these different files like monthly top donator or total donation amount, most recent donator, most recent follower, most recent subscriber. And again, there are some good directions on how to use this and how to set it up. You can also set up how the file draws that information from the Twitch Alerts database, and then it gives you a little preview down here. Fish sticks LOL 498. That's how it would look ultimately. And then whenever you get a follower donation or something along those lines, it'll actually it'll actually get sent to text files I have set up in my computer. So like, as you can see, session most recent subscriber, which if I double click, should come up with All Striker, who was the most recent one. And that will update dynamically. There's some coding going on behind that. Although you can update them manually on the back end, you probably shouldn't do that. And all I do with all of these text files is with the with a regular text source on OBS, I just use text from file, UTF-8 or compatible, and I just browse through the files, I find the one that's applicable, and I just place it right here, and then it'll update at the bottom, and I can just edit it however I want. You can also use these text things for, like, putting text on the screen, like, be right back, need to go get something, or anything along those lines. It has standard stuff. It has font size, color size, background colors, the ability to use outlines, font size. I said that twice. I don't know why. At least I think I said font size twice, or I was about to. Custom text extents. These you can use to customize the kind of text and what kind of space it occupies. But for the most part, it's just standard. And I use that for pretty much everything. Most recent donation, which is this one right here. Most recent, yeah, that's most recent donation. Most recent sub, the sub train option, just a bunch of different things. Now, the next big thing that we probably want to talk about is how I have the transparent background. So you saw the thing that popped up on my screen before, the Mr. Happy 1227 has subscribed with the music playing in the back, as well as my chat on the left-hand side, how it's transparent. You can actually see the game through the text in the back. Now, if I pull my chat over from the other monitor, this is how my chat actually looks, and I just destroyed the dimensions on it. Let me fix that real quick. All right, there we go. So you can see that I just, this is what the chat actually looks like, but this is how it's displayed. So how do you get this and turn it into that? So real quick, let's scroll down to my actual chat box. There it is. And go to properties. Now, this is a window capture. I am basically capturing this entire window right here. I have it set to the inner window, and then I just modify it as needed. Now, I have it set to not capture the mouse cursor, so that way you can't actually see me. See how you can see my mouse over this, but, well, okay, that's not working. It's not showing properly, but regardless, it's because it's on window capture, so it's conflicting. It's on monitor capture right now for this entire recording. So this is just a matter of, do you want them to see your mouse cursor over it? Do you need a compatibility mode? Hopefully not in this day and age. The big thing I do is subregion. So I capture a region of the chat right here. And let me just modify the dimensions. That way it can make more sense. And it only captures that much. So that's what you're seeing over on the left-hand side of the screen. And then that way you don't have to go through all this fancy stuff. Just pick select region. And then it should be okay. So when I press OK, as you can see, it updated on the left-hand side. So let's go back into that. The big thing that I do in order to get it transparent is I use a color key. Now, you're going to notice that my Twitch chat is completely black, while most people's is completely white. There is a thing you can download for Google Chrome. I don't know if you can download it for like Firefox or IE or anything. And it's called Better TTV. Now, Better TTV gives you access to a whole bunch of new options, as you can see, Better TTV. One of them is the ability to blacken and unblacken chat, which is specifically for use of this color key, aka Chroma key option. Now, I also goes directly into my Better TTV settings, and I set it to, why are the dimensions of this all off? And I set it to darken TTV. This allows it to have that darker hue even when it's unblackened. That's not necessary. You can do it without that, but for some reason when I do it without darken TTV, it just doesn't work. So, and then you just click with Better TTV installed, blacken chat, and that makes it just one solid color. That's the first thing you want to do. You want to make sure whatever you're chroma keying is one solid color. So then it's pretty simple. You just have to chroma key. As you can see, I have no color selected. Oops, I accidentally clicked out of it. And then you just want to chroma key. Come on. I accidentally minimized it. There we go. And then you just want to chroma key this black color. So I have the tool dropper selected. Click it. Bam. That way it'll blend in with whatever is behind it, and you won't have to ask any questions. Now, you can mess with the similarity and the blend a little bit. I have my similarity set to 10 and my blend set to 0. If you wanted to do something along the lines of like a green screen, this is the same thing you would use for a green screen. Make sure the green screen is one flat color behind you, which would require specific lighting and whatnot. And then you would do the same thing. You would click the green of the green screen, and it would do the same thing. It would make it so that the background behind me is transparent. Probably wondering why I don't use one. That's not a topic for this video. And that's really it. And then I do the same thing for the pop-up notifications for the friggin' Twitch alerts. There we go. So Like, for example, what it actually looks like, as you can see them side by side. Follow alert, it pops up on screen. Chroma pops up here, non-Chroma. Same deal. It's just a different application of the chroma key itself. So if I go up here, is this the right one? Yes, that's the right one. So if I go up here, same deal. I have the subregion selected. I don't know why I have it set to capture mouse cursor. I'm turning that off. And then same thing. Just that's what it looks like before I chroma key. And that's what it looks like after I chroma key. I have it set to similarity. Now, this one I had to mess with the similarity and the blend a little bit more because of all the different colors that are popping up every time. It can cause like the green to kind of to back up. I hope that's green. I'm just guessing because I'm colorblind. Just mess with it till you find a setting that works good for you. And those are really the only big settings that I feel like I really need to talk about. Everything else kind of here I just have for fun, like the giant. all these different sources. I have them all stacked right here. Recent tips. Window capture 2, that's the chat. Image, that's my actual my overlay. If you're wondering about the overlay, this overlay and pretty much everything on my channel at this point was designed by somebody by the name of Mori. He goes by Klyde more often. I'll include a link to his work in the description. And if you're looking for somebody, it's a commission. It's gonna cost you money, but he does amazing work. He did all my emotes. He did this overlay. He did all the screens, like he did the intro and he did the AFK screen and he did the offline screen. He did all this stuff. It's going to cost you some money, but I mean, all good work really does. And then I guess the last thing real quick is the video capture device. This is my camera itself, and I use this just to cover up the chat for the most part of Final Fantasy XIV. Nothing too fancy about this, just properties. It's capturing my Logitech HD Pro Webcam C920. I'm using a C920. I should probably cover all the hardware I'm using as well. I have the option to configure it. I have audio input disabled. I don't use any of this stuff. If you ever need to add a delay to your video, though, you can add buffering here. And so watch what's going to happen. You're going to see it mess up pretty bad right here. So it's going to come up. And now my voice isn't matching my face because I added a 1 second delay to my camera. So if that's ever an issue and you're trying to match your camera up to your audio, this is the option you want to go for, using buffering. Other than that, I literally just use it, and there's nothing special about it. Now it should be back to normal. And other than that, for the game itself, you have a choice of using game capture or window capture. For some people's computers, game capture doesn't work. For some people's computers, window capture doesn't work. You're really just going to have to find out which one works for your computer. Game capture works fine on mine. Right now I'm using monitor capture though. If I were to turn off monitor capture, it would basically, you wouldn't see all this other stuff. You would just see what my actual live stream looks like. And it looks pretty nice. I got to try that whole slower thing earlier. I learned a little bit in this video as well. So hopefully this helped clarify any questions you had. I use Twitch alerts and open broadcast software for my background software to handle donations, follows, subscriptions, as well as actually broadcasting. I have 60 down and 30 up. The upload speed is the thing that matters most, and I have my bitrate set to 3000. If you have a worse internet connection, try setting it to a lower value. Went through the video settings, went through the encoding settings, went through the actual live stream settings, went through how I got my text files down there, where they were, showed off the text thing, showed off the video, showed off chroma key, which is a huge one I get questions about. And hopefully that was everything I needed to cover. I mean, if not, feel free to ask questions in the description below. If you have a question, ask about it, like something that you see here that you want to know about, because if it's something that I'm completely uninformed about, I won't be able to answer it for you. But hopefully this video helped out. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting the live stream that you're seeing, what kind of goes behind the scenes here with setting everything up. So thank you for supporting the stream. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care.